Alrighty. Alright, real quick. Tell me how the audio is, because... oh, hang on. Sorry, I was confused. Let me know how the audio is, because I'm using a different microphone. And on OBS, it looks like it's going crazy. But then I tested it and it sounded fine. So on my phone it sounds fine. It's weird. It's like on OBS it looks like it's like rumbling like crazy and going wild, stuff like that. So I don't really know what's going on. Okay, I've got feedback coming through all over the place. Right, we're good. I see some people are in here. Let me make sure that my chat is working. I don't think it is. So let's get that connected real quick. And we'll do this. So in theory, maybe, hey, it works. Oh, you can see my screen. Let me do that so it's less distracting. Oh, now you got this big line. Well, you might just have to deal with that, guys. Oh well. Early gang is here. How are we going? Music was a little hot. Okay, good to know. We'll get there. Hemonto, that's a cool name. What's up? How's it going? Hope you're doing well. Dang, that intro solid. So here's what I want to do. I want to do that same thing. That's like a stock thing that I found, and I don't like the overlay all that much. What I want to do is on OBS build out like just the countdown and then blur out the background, but I haven't quite figured out how to do that just yet. So I got to figure that one out. Eddie was here early. Good to see you. Glad you're here. It's time. Yes, it is. It is time. I'm way behind. I really want to do this weekly. I wasn't able to last week. Why wasn't I able to last week? I was at a wedding last weekend, out of town, up in Ohio somewhere. I say somewhere because we're in the middle of nowhere. And then Friday and Saturday we had a funeral that we were at. So also I apologize if I look all sweaty. It is so hot in the studio right now. So I do apologize for my redness of face. So yes, I'm way behind. So what I might do, weekends are kind of hectic, so I might actually move live streams to Mondays. So we're going to see how today goes. But the plan is that live streams will be moved to Mondays. So we will see. Just finished the XM5 video. Good. I hope you liked it. I love it. I love this little XM5 right here. This thing is sweet. I'm a big fan. Sorry, my overlay is going to be weird. I'm going to make this larger. Why do I do that? Hey. There we go. Much better. Yes, this little XM5, I think it's great. I actually got another lens since I made that video. That is the 27mm 2.8, but this one is by TT Artisans. Yeah, TT Artisan. It's not the Fuji one. I'm also going to try and get my hands on the Fuji one and then see which one's better. Whether it's worth just buying a cheapo knockoff or buying the real thing. It's fantastic. I hope you're talking about the audio. If you are, that'd be great. Audio is fine from here. Audio sounds great. Good. Everyone's saying it sounds all right. Music was a little hot. I'll change that for next time. It's quite a distorted song from audio. I need to renew my subscription to audio. I haven't done that yet. I need to buy the lifetime thing. John, how's it going? You doing well? John Foreman. There is a famous John Foreman. Isn't the singer of Switchfoot called John Foreman? That was like one of the first concerts I ever went to. So many questions I have. Tell me all of your questions. Julian, what did you say? You said it's time. Okay, so you've got loads. Good. The more questions, the better, because that means I don't have to sit here awkwardly in silence. So yeah. Love the intro. Thanks, John. Countdown with the Sonic drowning music. That'd be something. Yeah. I heard the Fuji one was great. The Fuji, the 27mm. Yeah, I hope it's good. I haven't bought it yet. I'm trying to find a really cheap deal on a used one because I hate buying any gear new. I don't know about you guys. Do you guys buy new gear? Like, I think I can count on one hand the amount of camera equipment that I've actually bought brand new. And the XM5 was one of them, mainly because you can't. If you want to buy it used, you're going to be spending $1,200 at the moment, which is just the most ridiculously thing. Easy for me to say. If I seem all over the place, I do apologize. I am exhausted. It has been a crazy couple of weeks. My left eye has been doing that twitchy thing. You know when your eyelid twitches? It's been doing that for 5 days. And I don't know what's going on. So I am drinking a strawberry ale-8. If anybody is close to Kentucky and never had an ale-8, having a strawberry ale-8 today. I gave up soda for 6 years, and this last month I allowed myself back. So anyway, yes, Switchfoot. Yes, I do like. So what was that album? Hello Hurricane. That was one of the first concerts I went to. They did a tour and they came to Ireland and we went to their Hello Hurricane concert. They were great. They were really good. And then I went to Muse straight afterwards. A little bit different, but hey, SCRD. Hope it's going well. All good, yes. Brian's here. How's it going, Brian? Just saying, had the same thought about John Foreman. Yeah, he's an incredible songwriter. Thomas, I need to go visit Houston. How far is Houston from me? Let me see how far of a drive Houston is from me. Let me see. I'm in Kentucky, so Houston, Texas. It's only 16 hours and 20 minutes. I think I'd have to fly because I'm not driving 16 hours. I really do want to come down to Texas. So I've never been to Texas, but I have heard it's a cool place. I don't know if I want to go in the middle of summer. I'm in Kentucky and I'm dying here. Like, it's so hot. I'm struggling, and like Texas is probably worse. So like in Ireland where I'm from, the hottest it ever gets is like 80, 85 Fahrenheit. And it's like 95 here today. And it feels like it's 90 something here. But I don't know. I can't do that sort of crazy heat. I only get new gear from the camera bodies, but I try to get used for everything else. I think that's fair. There are 2 cameras that I've ever bought new. No, 3. 3 cameras I've ever bought new. That was this Sony A7 III, the ZV-E10 Mark II, which I have sold. It's gone. I don't have it anymore. I've made a couple of videos about it. I haven't got those edited yet, but so it's gone. And then the XM5. That's about it. Yeah, everything else I buy used. It's just so much cheaper. I haven't had any issues with used stuff. Yeah, no, neither have I. Well, I had one problem with a used purchase, and it was Facebook Marketplace, and that was a Sony A7R III. And I should have known because of the price that it was broken. So he told me that the EVF was broken, and I was like, you know what? For the price that I'm getting it, that's fine. And then I got it, and 2 days later the screen broke, and I was like, oh. Well, I need one or the other. I can't go without both. So that was a loss, unfortunately. I actually still managed to sell it for parts on eBay for $800, so that wasn't so bad. I only got my lens new. My camera was already used. So you go for lenses new. I don't know if there's any lenses I've bought new. Or I don't know. Maybe. Probably is. It's been a while. Micah Cruz, how's it going? Ale-8 is an acquired taste for some. I liked it. I like it too. So it's, for those of you who don't know, Ale-8 is like a ginger ale, but it's not like crazy sweet, and it's also not crazy bitter. It's quite light, I think. And then they came out with a whole bunch of flavors. This strawberry one is like pure sugar, and it's kind of hurting me to drink, but I need some energy right now. Ethan, you're here. Glad you're here. We just started. What, 10 minutes ago? I've been here 10 minutes. I haven't got into anything important. I would say come to my city, but Hamburg, Germany is a little farther away than Houston. Well, I'm in Ireland a lot and over in England a fair bit, so it's not too far from there. I've never been to Hamburg. I've been to Cologne, Dusseldorf, and Berlin, but I haven't been to Hamburg. Extremely hot in Texas. Yeah. I'm not about that life. Give me the snow. I'd rather be in the snow. Texas is amazing. You got to come visit Austin. So here's the thing that I don't know scale-wise. Austin, Dallas, and Houston, how far away are they from each other? Because I think, like, Kentucky is a relatively small state, but it's twice the size of Ireland. as a country, like the whole country. That's including Northern Ireland. I'm from Northern Ireland, which is a different country, and it's 1/8 the size of Kentucky alone. So that's the kind of scale that I'm coming from. So when people hear like, oh, we're going to drive to the beach, it's only 13 hours away. I'm like, what are you doing? You could drive around all of Ireland like 3 times. And so I was the guy last week who had the ZVE10 who lives in Bangladesh, but my cage didn't have screw holes for a side mount on the left. I got a solution. It's a Vodka universal side handle. Oh, sweet. Does that attach like on the bottom? Like sort of like an L shape? That'd be cool. Yeah, I kind of hate it when there's like a cage for a camera that doesn't have screw points on the grip side or on one of the sides. It feels like you should have the option. Although my next video is about a camera accessory that I'm not going to talk about right now, that has no threads. It's incredibly inconvenient, but it's beautiful. And I'm really excited about it. I haven't unboxed it yet. It's actually in this, how do I do this? No, other way. Doing this in mirrored is weird. That cardboard box right there is it's like the most form over function product I've ever bought and been excited about, which is really weird because I'm usually the opposite way around. But that'll be coming out later this week. Check it out and maybe even film a rig video with it. Might help people in the same boat as me. Oh, okay, for the Vodka universal side handle. I will look it up. Let me quickly look up this thing real quick. Vodka universal side handle. All right, I put that in some notes, and I think I see the one you mean on AliExpress. It's like $20. Yeah, those sorts of ones are pretty handy. Ironically, no pun intended, but they do work, especially if you don't have anything, any way of attaching something. So, it's so much nicer this year than last year. What was happening last year? What was going on last year? I'm out in LA. Oh, cool. I haven't been to LA either. I almost went for, what was that camera convention in LA this year? Cine something? I almost went to that, but I didn't. It's not a cool place. It's humid, 95 and rainy. Yeah. Oh, it's the humidity that makes it the worst. Like, because, here in sort of Appalachia area, it's just all forest. So it's just really humid all the time. You walk outside and it's like you're just drinking water, yet you're getting dehydrated at the same time. It's really bizarre. Another person in Houston in here. And yeah, Houston is too hot right now, but not triple digits yet. Okay, fair enough. Yeah. Once it hits triple digits, I'm out. I'm out completely. Especially the humid hot part is horrible. Can we get individual video guides for each camera in how to edit S-Log on DaVinci? I'm struggling to understand my camera on the ZVE10 Mark I on how to edit S-Log. So I don't use DaVinci, although that may change. Right here, you can't really see it, but there's a PC right here I just finished building. I've finished building it today, and I'm very tempted to switch to DaVinci, but currently I use Premiere Pro. If you want to learn how to color grade, I'm not a professional at all when it comes to color grading. I would go to colorgradingcentral.com, not .com. That's a YouTube channel. Color Grading Central YouTube channel. That's everything I learned about color grading is through Color Grading Central. So I would check them out. As far as the ZVE10 Mark I goes, I don't actually use S-Log for the ZVE10 Mark I. The 8-bit color, I find especially S-Log 3 just falls apart. S-Log 2, I just don't like as much. I used to use it a lot more, but I actually just shoot in HLG, which doesn't require much. You just throw a little contrast on there, and then a LUT if you have one, or if you want to do some of your own custom color grading, you can do that, which is good. A guide for DaVinci editing would be great. I need one of those too. So yeah, if you guys find a good one, let me know, because I also need to learn DaVinci. The whole node tree thing is over my head. I just shot a video for an event, and now I'm watching this while editing. Nice. What kind of event were you shooting, Brian? It's cool to hear that you're out shooting, doing some stuff. Very cool. I just received a used lens that I purchased last week. Looking forward to using it this week. Nice. There's nothing better than, I usually try to caution people about gas, gear acquisition syndrome. But at the same time, that feeling when you get a new product and you just get really excited about it is awesome. I'm a big fan. Nice. Don't know what that was for, but I'm glad it was nice. I think Dallas is like 3 hours from Austin. Okay, that's not terrible. But Texas is so big that you could drive like 12 hours and still be here. That's wild. That's so crazy. America's too big. Hey Ricardo, hope you're doing well. Welcome to the stream. I've noticed on my back to my audio real quick. I've noticed in the audio side, if I let out a plosive too close to the microphone, the whole thing just turns red. So has that been happening? Has there been much peaking, or is it okay? Just let me know. With the ZV-E10 Mark I, it's probably better to go S-Log2. Yeah, no, I agree. S-Log2 would be the hardest I would push it. S-Log3 is too flat for 8-bit. And I don't even know where any of these places are, but it's cool. North America is very lucky. It's lucky. Where are you from? Are you from South America or Europe, or where are you at? I'm in Spring. I'm guessing that's the place. Oh, you're from Bangladesh. Oh yeah, we talked about this. We talked about this last couple of weeks ago. 104 Fahrenheit in summers. Yeah, that's too much. That's too much. I agree with the ZV-E10. The S-Log3 didn't look the best. I just couldn't get enough contrast back into it for some reason when I was shooting on the ZV-E10, or even on my A7 III. Any of the older 8-bit cameras from Sony, S-Log3 just didn't work for me at all. S-Log2 was kind of the furthest I'd go. Next time I go live, you should come on and I'll give you a color grading tutorial. You should. Here, that'd be fun. Do like live color grading tutorials. That would be interesting. If anybody here is not subscribed to Ezreal, you need to go subscribe to Ezreal. He's doing some really cool content. So, you're filming an FCA event. Very good. I'm not allowed to shoot any here. We're not actually really allowed to be part of ours here, which I understand it's like student-led, so that's fair enough. But yeah, they're really strict. And it's also run by the Baptists, and they won't let me in. Nice. North side. Very cool. So I want to put out there, what kind of camera stuff do people have going on right now? This is before we are going to get into the giveaway, right? So I should have brought all the stuff, but I was in a big rush today. So I've got 2 of these handles by Fallcam, sort of quick release. They come with the F22 clip. So I've got 2 of these, and then in my camera gear under $50 video, I also ordered, I showed off the dual camera harness. I accidentally ordered 2 of those, so I thought instead of returning one, I'll just send one to you guys. So I have three products to give away, so it's 2 handles and the dual camera harness. Now, I did use the camera harness at a wedding last week, which turned out great. I really enjoyed using it. Some people in the comments were kind of pointing out that it's too cheap and it's too small and it seemed kind of like restrictive of movement. In a sense, they are right. It's definitely more restrictive. So I've used one other dual camera harness before, and it was like a $200 one. That one was lovely. This one was $35, $36. So yes, there is restriction of movement. But honestly, it wasn't terrible. I still would rather take the dual camera harness with the restricted movement of the one that I had, rather than like having a bag with a separate camera in it. So yes. But we'll talk about the giveaway here in a little bit, and we'll see how that goes. So where are we at here on the stream? We got 21 people according to this, and only 7 likes. What's going on? No, I'm just kidding. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that guy. I always forget, like, all of these live streaming things. There's so much that you can do. There's like the little crowns that we could talk about. There's all that stuff. But anyway. Hi Thomas, loved your video about the Fujifilm X-M5. How did you set your continuous autofocus? Did you have any issues like constant pulsing or something like that? I didn't touch it. I didn't touch any autofocusing settings. That's straight out of the box. It worked fine. Like it's not perfect. There was the odd moment where it would pulse. So in the clip that I was sitting down by the lake, there was a couple of little moments when it would pulse, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all. So it's very usable. It's not Sony, And I know, like, basically everybody's like, yeah, it's not Sony, and that's fine. Sony have the monopoly on autofocus right now. Maybe Canon's pretty high up there as well, but I've never shot with Canon recently anyway. So it was good. I did find, so I used it for photography at a wedding, which is not clever. I definitely did not use it as my main camera, but I got some really nice photos with it. And I have to say, in low light, the autofocus really struggled. And when there's lots of people, I think this was where Sony really does well with their autofocus. With the XM5, this is for photography. When there were loads of people in the frame, it was just kind of going crazy, trying to figure out who it should focus on the most. So that was a little bit annoying. But if you use the electronic shutter, you can get like 20 frames a second. So, you know, one of them will be in focus. that was kind of my thinking, and it worked. Low light photography I wasn't very happy with, but that could have just been my recipe. Anyway, I need that color grading guide. Ezreal, genuinely, I don't know if you were joking, but I think that's actually a really good idea. Do a color grading tutorial, and I'll watch it if I'm not even, I'll hop in if you want me to, but I'll watch it for sure. Definitely not that strict here in North Carolina. Yeah, fair enough. I think it's just the people who run the one in our local town. I just bought the A7C Mark II and I'm loving it so far. It's amazing. That's the one camera that tempts me in the Sony full frame market right now for the money. But again, I have to keep reminding myself this channel primarily is focused on budget gear, and I should keep it that way because that's largely my audience. Now, as the audience grows, and hopefully as you guys, especially those who have like started following me maybe a year or two ago, and are getting better at your skills, ideally, I will then start to upgrade to the level of what I'm talking about to go along with you guys. But I'm trying to figure that one out. I don't quite know exactly how to do that just yet. In saying that, there's a very strong chance I may buy a Fujifilm GFX 100S2 at the end of the year. Don't quote me on it. I really want one. And when it comes to tax write-off season, that might be the one. That might just be the one. I love the Falcam F22 and F38 system so much. Yeah, I think I prefer the F38, but the F22 actually works really well. It's probably better than NATO, which to some people might be kind of crazy, but I do like it. And they are nice. The handles that they make are very pretty. So they make one that's like actually a lot cheaper than this one, and it's just like an oval, and it looks super simple, but I actually think it looks better than this one. So that would be another good one to check out. Alan Jones is here. How are you? Hope you're doing well. Also, yeah, what time is it over in Europe? 10:30, 10:40, something like that. Is this sort of time a good time to do camera live streams? 5 o'clock EST? I don't know. I'm just making it up. There's no one good time because every time is different all over the world, which is weird. Yeah, I got to try a crazy harness for an FX3 at my college, and it was amazing. Yeah, I mean, you can spend so much money on camera straps and like harnesses and stuff. So yeah, I've just got a cheap one that I'm giving away. So, but we'll get to that. Let's do that at 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock, we'll go over the giveaway details if that's all right with you guys. Is the A6700 with the cooling fan equal to the FX30? No, the FX30 is far... I've never even heard of an FX30 overheat. Has anybody ever managed to get an FX30 to overheat? Or FX3? I don't think it's possible. They're just beasts. The A6700 with the cooling fan is good, but it's still not perfect. So I would, if you're really concerned about overheating for video, if you're doing long form video, especially on a professional basis, just get the FX30. It's a better camera all around. So it's funny, in the video that I did comparing the A6700 and the FX30 and the ZV-E10 Mark II, people were still saying, like, why would you recommend the A6700? The FX30 is better. And it's like, it depends on your needs. If you're a photographer, the FX30 is not better. If you're a videographer, it is. So it all depends on your use case. But yes, I would definitely say if you're concerned about overheating, FX30 is the way to go. Dude, 100%. I'm in Austin on a shoot this week, but let's talk about doing it in the next 2 weeks. Yeah, for sure. Let me know. Let me know. I may be just pumping out a whole lot of content, not this coming week, but the next week, because my house is getting like major construction done. So I'm not going to be able to be in my house. So I'll probably just be in the office all day, making a whole lot of more stuff. So that'd be great. A6700 or ZV-E10 Mark II for vlogging and gym content. I think personally the A6700 is better than the ZV-E10 Mark II in every single way, except price. But the price is not that much different. So I would say used A6700. If you can find a used one for like $1,200 or $1,300, it is a lot better. And there's a reason that I sold the ZV-E10 Mark II and I've kept the A6700. But it depends on your budget. If you can afford it, I'd go for it. And if you can afford the A6700 but no good lenses, then that's another whole. Here's kind of like a whole take. I've been trying to wordsmith this for another video. My take would be, if you can afford a camera but you can only afford it with the kit lens and you can't afford any other lenses, then you can't afford the camera. I'm trying to word that a bit better. But if the only lens you can afford for a certain camera is the kit lens, then you can't afford that camera. That's kind of my opinion. Because you should get more better lenses, in my opinion. I think it just makes, I mean, it's amazing the difference in quality and image that you get whenever you upgrade a lens. And you can just see, especially with beginners, it just blows their mind, right? If you give someone a camera with a kit lens and then they're using it and they're like, oh yeah, it's great. And then you throw on like a really nice prime lens, they're just like, oh, everything changes. So I definitely say it depends on your lens budget. A7C2 is the GOAT. That's what I've heard. It's held its price quite well. That's one of the problems. Is again, as someone who shops used a lot, it's held its price very well. Coming from the Z, from the what? Sorry. Tyler's here. How's it going, Tyler? How do you keep your room both cool and quiet with all the lights, PC and camera running? It is not cool. I am sweating. It's so warm in here. And quiet would be the acoustic treatment. I've got acoustic panels over here, and right behind here is acoustic panels. This black thing, that's a giant acoustic blanket. Furniture, which is a mess. This whole side, I just turned off the lights because the furniture is a mess. So acoustic paneling, like acoustic treatment, is amazing. It makes so much difference. And also my microphone has a noise gate on it. So, but there's no fan noise in here other than my switcher. Yeah, there's not much noise, which is quite nice. But it is really hot in here. I'm sweating so much. ZV-E10 was such a big difference. Coming from something else. Coming from the ZV-E10 was such a big difference. That makes sense. GFX 100 Mark II is god tier camera for that's what so next year we're doing a lot more traveling, my wife and I, and I'm desperate to get back into more photography. I've just been at the start of the year I said I want to get into more photography, and I picked up the Nikon ZF. And I was like, this is just my photography camera. I haven't really made any videos about it because, again, it's not really like a beginner camera. Even though that video was really popular, I love that camera. The more James Popsy I've watched, which if you guys don't watch James Popsy, I think that's his last name, Popsy or something like that. Just incredible. Such an unbelievable photographer. And no, it's obviously not the camera that makes the photos better. But I'm pretty keen to try out the 100S2. I don't think I'll be able to squeeze in the 102, but also because I don't need the video specs. I could use it for video. The 100S2 does 4K 24 and 4K 30. But obviously the 102 does like 8K and a whole bunch of stuff. So, but yeah. Do you know of any grips that don't need a cage? Ooh. Who was it? Hang on. Was it Hemonto? Who was that? Yeah, Hemonto was talking about Fotga, Fotga, make a universal grip, and it might bolt into the bottom of your camera. Most of the time you're going to need a cage, but you may be able to get one that is like a universal grip. It's 3:40 a.m. What are you doing awake? What are you do? Are you there? Why are you awake? Go to bed. Howdy. Been watching a lot of your content lately. Very cool to catch you live. Think I've also gathered that you're in Kentucky. Oh, nice. Yes, I am in Kentucky. I'm not from Kentucky, but I am here in Eastern Kentucky. We're in the middle of nowhere, out near Ashland. So yeah, we love it here. It's been great. So. I'm just getting into photography and videography. I'm getting the ZV-10 on Thursday. Very good. Did you get one used? It seems like there's still a lot on the used market, which is great. So that's great. Good little camera. I got a lot of videos about. I think probably the most videos on my channel are about the ZV-10. But I think that may get overtaken by the new Fujifilm potentially. It's just been fun. I'm really enjoying it. The Sony ZV-10 overheat if you shot 4K. So every single hybrid camera will overheat whenever you push it. That's just kind of how it works. If you have a hybrid camera, it will overheat, but that doesn't mean it's going to overheat all the time. Like the ZV-10, I've never had the original ZV-10 overheat on me. The ZV-10 Mark II I have had overheat. But it depends what you're doing. I mean, I've filmed hour-long podcasts with the ZV-10 and it's been fine. I've filmed entire church services with it and it's been fine. So it really just depends on what you're doing. If you're in the desert and you're filming in 4K 30, which I think is the highest it can go, and you just keep it running, yeah, it'll probably overheat. But I am working on a video of 3 things that you can do to stop cameras from overheating. So I'll try to get that out in the next week or 2. Hello everybody, David, I hope you're doing well. I already have the Sony 11mm and the Sigma 30mm. I haven't tried this Sony 11, but it seems great. And the Sigma 30, I love it. The video I just put out about the XM5, the shots I got with the the Sigma 30mm, I was so happy with. But those are 2 good lenses, especially for the gym stuff that you're talking about. So that's good. So yeah, the biggest buff for you doing gym work and for video stuff with the A6700 is going to be the IBIS, in my opinion. I think that'll probably make the biggest difference. For those who use S-Log3 for 8-bit, is it just preference of style? Because I'm conflicted because find as something to settle. Sorry, my brain. Because I've only seen many YouTubers always going for S-Log3. I haven't seen many YouTubers go for S-Log3 with the original ZV-10. Maybe that's just me, but it didn't seem like that was a particularly popular way to go. S-Log2 was the main one that people did with 8-bit. It doesn't mean that you can't get a good image with S-Log3. I think it just takes a lot more work. So, I find that the HLG is just the simplest. It still gives you decent dynamic range, not the best, but decent. And it doesn't take a huge amount to grade it. So that's kind of why I recommend HLG, especially for beginners. S-Log3 is just designed for 10-bit cameras. The flatter an image is, the more you're going to have to push it to get those colors back out. And the more you push it, the more damage you're going to do to the colors if you don't have the right amount of bit depth or enough bit depth. That's why, so if you ever watch films that have like these super crazy color grades, they're probably, most films these days are done with like filmed in RAW in some capacity. But even on YouTube, like if you sometimes you watch a YouTube video and it looks like there's loads of banding or like weird choppy lines. Sometimes that's just YouTube compression. Sometimes it's because 8-bit footage just really struggles to capture that gradient and that kind of color. So, but yes, the more you push a color, the harder you try to color grade, the more it's going to fall apart if you have 8-bit. So you just kind of have to learn the boundaries of your footage, basically. I decided to go for the ZV-10 body because I could afford better lenses. Yeah, great choice. Great choice. I mean, that's ultimately the biggest thing. And I like to hear that people are actually doing that rather than just buying a camera and just being stuck, you know. My first lens upgrade was a Nifty 50. Oh, the classic Canon Nifty 50. Has anybody in here never owned a classic Canon Nifty 50? I would be intrigued. Probably some of the younger folks, but back in the DSLR days. My second was Sigma 18 to 35, 1.8. The difference was as soon as possible. The Sigma 18 to 30. I have it over here. This is my C100. It's old camera. It just sits on a shelf. I say it's mine. It's not mine. It's our church's. And it has the Sigma 18 to 35 just lives on there because it's an incredible lens. For those of you who don't know, this was like the king of all lenses for the longest time. And they did re-release it recently. So they have the new one, which is the 17 to 45, which I still haven't got yet. I'm waiting for Sigma to tell me they'll send it to me, but they probably will not do that. So, yeah, that's smart. ZV-10 with a good lens looks. Yeah, any camera with a good lens. A 10-year-old Canon C100, or it's probably older than 10 years. Well, I don't even know how old that is. Any camera with a good lens will look better than a brand new camera with a bad lens, in my opinion. That mic is catching my attention. What is it from? This is by Blue, so it's the Blue Bluebird. So they made a whole bunch of these different ones. So there was the Spark, the Bluebird, and the Baby Bottle. They are like the budget line of their big bottle microphones. So this is the old one. So I think it was in like 2002. Blue was purchased by Logitech. And that's when they started making more gaming focused stuff. But back in the day, Blue was much more known for, what's the word? Music. That was the word. Like they were known for making like studio style microphones. So this is the older Bluebird bottle microphone. I actually have all three. The Baby Bottle is the more expensive one. That's in my gaming setup because that seems reasonable to me. But they're really cheap. You can get this on eBay for like $100. And they look really good on camera. That's what I like about them. And they sound really good. I love that large diaphragm condenser mic sound. Sorry, I'm a little distracted because my eye is twitching like crazy. How about that XM5? Mine comes in a week. Kind of keen to use it. Yeah, I love it. I think it's great. You commented on the video saying you sold your FX3 for an XM5. That's a bold choice. I'm surprised that comment didn't get more notice. I'm not saying it was a bad choice or a good choice. It is your choice. You do whatever you want. But yeah, very cool. What audio do you use while editing? In your monitors, headphones, or speakers? I use speakers. I have a pair of Mackie speakers. And then typically what I do, as long as I'm not in too much of a rush, I will export it and I will send it to my phone and then I'll listen to it on my phone speakers. Because if it sounds good on speakers, like main speakers, and good on a phone, I'm happy enough. Sorry, I have a mustache hair that's bothering me. Sorry. So yes, if it sounds good on a phone, most of your people are going to be happy. I would actually recommend, somebody recommended this to me the other day, to edit with AirPods, I'm going to try and pick up some AirPod Pros, because realistically that's what most people are probably watching or listening on. So if you can get it to sound good on a phone or AirPods or some speakers, you're probably set. I have an A6700 with a 35 milligram, I'm guessing that's millimeter, and a Sigma 16 millimeter. Very nice. Yeah, good combos there. The Sigma 16 is great, and yeah, you can't beat a 35, which is probably closer to what, like 45 millimeter. That's a good one. James Popsy is the GOAT. Yeah, he is. He's also just really satisfying to watch. I have family in Ashland, beautiful area. It's a nice area. It's not what people would say is like a luxury place to live, but we got called to work at a church out here 5 years ago, almost 5.5 years ago, and been here for a long time, so pretty happy, pretty content. And we opened a little coffee shop and got kind of settled in. So if you ever find yourself in Grayson, Kentucky, pop into the Nook and Cranny coffee shop. I'll probably be there. You mean to tell me that's not a Kentucky accent? I certainly hope not. If I start, sorry to anybody from Kentucky. If I sound like I've lost my accent, tell me, and I'll go home. Have you missed Ireland? Absolutely. Yeah. Of course. I mean, no matter where you go, no matter where you move to, you're always going to miss home a little bit. You know, all my family are still there. A lot of my best friends are still there. But my wife is here. My job is here. We've got a lot of really good friends here that we've kind of settled into. So we've got some really good people. You can find good people anywhere. And as long as there's good people around, doesn't matter where you live, in my opinion. Wow. I'm guessing you were typing this one. What's your streaming gear? I want to step up for my phone. I'm using a Sony FX30. I'm running into an Atomos switcher, running into my Mac Mini, and then my Blues running into my camera, which is complete overkill. And the only reason that I have this for streaming is because I use it for other stuff. I wouldn't recommend spending this kind of money on a streaming setup unless you really want to. So I use the FX30 mainly because of the full-size HDMI, USB out, if you want to use that, and no overheating. So that works pretty well. Not having IBIS on the ZV-10 and not on a lens either really sucked for vlogs. Yes. Yeah, that will be a pretty hefty shakiness, which I feel the exact same way about the Fujifilm. And that's why you just got to build a giant heavy rig. Not for vlogging, but anyway. Never mind, just read the list. Oh, good. Yeah, it's overkill. It's too much. But it does work. So Sigma 1835 rules. Such a great lens. I really hope the new one lives up to the old one. I went straight to the 50. Oh, you went to the straight to the 1.2L. Dang. He's throwing the big bucks around. Yeah. Back when I shot Canon, adapted those lenses to Lumix for a little bit, but eventually sold them for L mount glass. So how was adapting Canon lenses to Lumix? Because I have some old Canon glass, like the 18-35. I have an 85. I have an 50-50. And I was tempted to try the, whatever it's called, the Sigma M21, I think it is. I think it's the M21. Does autofocus work okay? I mean, autofocus on Lumix doesn't work super well anyway. It's definitely a lot better than it used to be, but how was that adapting? I don't know which that one that is, but fair enough. Thanks for the Ninja putting it to good use. Oh, sweet. It will come in handy this forthcoming Halloween. Oh, very good. I was actually meaning, so I just built a PC, and I watched a video the other day of somebody talking about a PC build, and they were showing the airflow by using one of the smoke ninjas, and they just put smoke into the bottom of it, and it showed where the airflow was going, which I thought was genius. So I have another Ninja lying around somewhere that I've unboxed and I've used, not the one that I'd send you, but it's 6 o'clock, I need to do my giveaway. But yeah, somebody used it to check airflow in a PC, which I thought was really smart. All right, real quick, while a couple more camera Q&A questions come in, I'll tell you about this, how we're going to do this giveaway, right? This is not a good way to do a giveaway, but I have not figured out a good system yet. Well, I have. I don't know whether to tell you guys about this. You know what? I'll let you know it. So I'm getting close to 20,000 subs. You guys are in on my secret here. Okay, so I'm getting close to 20,000. That's not a secret because you can just see that on my page. Every time I hit So when I hit 10,000 subs, I gave away a ZVE10. When I hit 20,000 subs, I am going to give away a camera rig and potentially a ZVE10 as well. I don't know if I can squeeze in the ZVE10, but I'm giving away a full camera rig that is universal to any camera. I'll grab it for you. So, the way this works, yeah, you guys are in on there's a reason to why I'm saying all of this. But I've built a camera rig that I'm pretty happy with. So it'll work with any small compact camera. So it works with my XM5, my A6700, both ZVE10s, my Lumix S9 and my FX30. And it is adjustable. So it'll work with a lot of different cameras. And basically, the whole thing just pops in, hopefully, if I can get... Oh, I didn't have the screen lined up. So basically, this rig, which I'm pretty happy with, I'm going to give away. Not the A6700 with the lens, okay? I'm going to try and include a ZVE10 and everything in that rig, which I'm pretty excited about. And here's the crazy thing. This whole rig, other than the camera and the lens, $500. $500 for all of that. Isn't that kind of crazy? Anyway, so I'm going to do, for 20,000 subs, I'm going to do a rig build video because they're very popular, and we're going to do the giveaway of that rig. But after that, there's a couple of life change things coming up for me and my wife. And we are going to be relying on YouTube a little bit more than before. So, and you guys can tell me if this seems unreasonable, because I don't want to do something that seems bad. After the 20,000 sub giveaway, the plan is that every time we do a giveaway, which is at least once a month, that I will be starting channel memberships. And if you want to get in on the giveaways, it'll just be for members. I know that's not super ideal. Sorry, I just realized your thing's still up here. I know that's not super ideal, and I kind of feel a little bit bad about it, but it is expensive to do giveaways, and I want to do more because I love being able to give back to you, all of you guys, but also, you know, it's kind of ridiculous that companies just send you stuff. So I have gear that I can give away, but I don't necessarily have the budget to just ship things everywhere. So hopefully channel memberships then could be the funding to give it away. And then also it just means that the pool of people receiving the giveaways is going to be smaller, so you're more likely to receive it. That's kind of where my mind is. Tell me if that's a bad idea, or if that comes across as too greedy, you just let me know. All right, giveaway details. So what I want you to do to enter into the giveaway, okay? So again, we're going to give away 2 of these handles by Fallcam, the little quick release handles. 2 of those, to 2 different people. So we're giving 3 products away to 3 different people. 2 of those, and then the dual camera harness as well. So we'll give away those 3. What I want you to do, and I know that this sounds ridiculous, is if you go over to my Instagram, I think I can only do the giveaway in North America. So if you're not in North America, shipping it gets really complicated because you could end up having to pay fees, and I don't want you to have to do that. So we'll just stick it to North America for now. But if you go to my most recent post on Instagram, I would love it if you would like the post, and then I want you to comment what your favorite vegetable is. And that way I know. And that way it is really restricted, because everybody else is going to be like, what on earth is going on? Why are there comments about vegetables? But I want you to just leave a comment. Leave a comment of your favorite vegetable, like that post. It's the one with the picture of the XM5 and a few of the screenshots. So the one of this one. So if you could like that and then drop a comment of your favorite vegetable, and then I think we'll be set. And then in a couple of days, I will comment on your... Oh, it's the Instagram handle is just my name, Thomas J. McClure. Let me see if I can just put it in the chat. A link to it. Sorry, give me a second. I'm really disorganized, so you're just gonna have to bear with me. But yeah, I'll throw a link here in the chat. However I do that. All right. Oh, we got some people in here already doing it. That's funny. Sorry, 1 second. I don't know if you can even use that link. You might be able to. So yes, just go to that picture, like it, comment your favorite vegetable. I just want to do something silly. I thought it'd be kind of funny. And then that will enter you into the giveaway. And then in a few days, I will just comment under your comment that I've DM'd you or something, and I'll send you a DM, and then we'll figure out some giveaway details there where I can ship it to you. So that's how you get in. Again, you'll either get a handle or the dual camera strap. The first person I pick, I'll let you choose. We'll do it that way. I don't know, or maybe I'll just decide. I have no system to this. Here's another important question. If you guys know a good way that I can actually do these giveaways, because I'm going to be doing them every month, tell me, because I've done it differently. Like last time, it was just whoever commented first. That was a terrible idea, but we did it anyway. And then this one is going to be commenting vegetables. So there you go. All right, let me get back to some of these questions, and I'll try catch up real quick. I have a ZV-E10 Mark I and love to shoot on vintage glass. Do you have any tips to record handheld without shaking like crazy? Wait. Build up a camera rig, make your camera heavier, or get a SAK, S-A-K-K, I think it's called. Weight is your best friend. If your camera's really small and light, it's going to pick up all the little micro jitters, so just add some weight to it. Which you can do. It doesn't have to be a fancy rig. Like you could literally duct tape a dumbbell to it if you wanted to. Like whatever you want to do. Just add some weight. Wingman is here. How's it going? Hope you're doing well. So I'm thinking of getting the Sigma 10 to 18 f2.8 and then the Sony 18 to 105 OSS for my first two lenses for my ZV-10. Do you honestly think those are good options? Or if not, what would you recommend? The Sigma 10 to 18 I've not actually tried, but I really want to get it for my XM5. Everything I've seen out of that lens looks very, very good. So I think you're probably pretty safe with that one. The 18 to 105 I have used. It is an f4. So it is incredibly versatile, but you're not going to be getting all that much compression. And if I remember correctly, the sharpness wasn't crazy good on the one that I had, but it was good. So it depends what you're wanting to do. If you want any form of blurry background, you're probably going to want to get a 2.8. Maybe look into like the Tamron 17 to 70, which is also stabilized. Probably more expensive, but yes. That's about all I can say. The 10 to 18 looks like a fantastic lens. I think you'll be perfectly fine with that one. The 18 to 105 is a little bit more, depends how you're using it. I mean, both of them are depending on how you want to use them, but you would certainly have everything covered with all of your range from 10, which is about a 15 mil, all the way up to 150 mil. So yeah, you'd be pretty covered. I don't even remember the first lens upgrade I did all those years ago, but since I run the 24 to 105 f2.8, it lives on my R5 Mark II. That's a big setup. R5 Mark II. Here I was talking about beginner cameras, and we got people in here using R5 Mark IIs. Very good. All right. Do you have any recommendations for budget ND filters that don't really affect colors? So here's the thing about color. If you film in log and you record with an auto white balance, your color grade will fix it. Doesn't matter, really, for the most part. I quite like using the Freewell ones. They're about $100 to $110 a piece, but all ND filters do have a little bit of a color shift, but you can fix it in post relatively easy with like a green magenta shift. I would just get one with hard stops. That way you're not going to run into any sort of like X cross pattern type of thing. So that would be my recommendation. I use the free wells. I know K&F have really stepped up their game with filters. So that might be one to look into as well. Adapting EF glass to L mount was great. You don't get continuous autofocus. Unfortunately, you only get single point, but it worked very well for photography. Okay, cool. That's good to know. Giveaway time, yes. So if you've only just joined, I saw we have a few extra people. About 10 minutes ago, I went over the giveaway details. You can just rewind back and watch that. We're giving away three things. So you can go check those out. The difference that a prime lens can make is so true. Using an f1.4 35mm for streaming, yeah, it makes so much difference. It really does. I love primes. I am a, like, if anybody asks me, would you rather have a prime or a zoom? I'm saying prime before they even say the word zoom. So, yes. A whole camera rig, that's the plan. That's the plan, is to give this thing away. So I'll build it on stream and then I'll just try and package it up all pre-built. That's the idea. Sorry, I'm gonna blow over all the people being really excited about the other giveaway because but I appreciate you guys' enthusiasm. Ethan says that's a great idea. It makes most sense for you, and that's what matters. For the most part, yeah, I think it needs to make sense for me, but it also needs to be appealing. So, like, yes, of course, it makes sense for me to try and do it where it's like it's not costing me all that much. But I also, not the people pleaser in me, but whenever you are doing something online, how people perceive you does matter, right? I'm not saying it's about people pleasing, but if people see you as a greedy shill, you're not going to get the kind of audience that you would want. So I just want to be careful around that. Brian agrees. That's good. I appreciate that. Ezreal, if you don't eat vegetables, I mean, what are you? You're almost 30 years old. We're old people now, dude. If you were born in the previous century, that's what I meant to say, the previous century, we're old people now. We have to like vegetables or our bodies don't work. I turned 30 this year and I have been injured more this year than I've ever been injured in the last 5 years. And I started liking broccoli. Like, I love broccoli now. Literally, I turned 30 and I started getting injured and I started liking broccoli. It's crazy. Ethan has done it. Great pictures. I appreciate that. Those are some screenshots from my most recent video. I love the colors that I got out of this little camera here. So very happy with that. Since watermelon is both a fruit and a vegetable, does that count? Sure. I'm not gonna, like, if someone says like tomato and I'm like, oh, it's not a fruit, you don't get an entry, I'm not gonna be like that. All right, we got good. So done. Hey y'all, Zayn. I'm not going to try and pronounce your whole name, I'm sorry. But it's nice to have you here, glad you're here. Blue mic, yes. I love this thing. And it also matches my vibe of the room. I often go for like a teal and orange look, which is not, there's no color grade on it right now, but this always blends in really well, which is nice. Lots of people in here. Yeah, we've had like 30 people all together. Or we've had 130 people all together. And we got about 30 people at the moment, which is great. Really, really glad that you guys are here. Thank you all so much for keep coming out to these live streams. I really enjoy it. It doesn't like grow the channel very much, but I think it's one of my favorite parts to do, is to actually like interact with you a little bit more. I was doing a giveaway on Twitter and it's expensive, but my niche on Twitter is focus on Taylor. On Taylor? Taylor guitars? I don't know what that means. But yeah, it can be expensive. The last there was a giveaway I did a while ago. I can't remember what it was. Or I sent someone something and it was like $30 and I was like, dang it. It's like a small little thing. Anyway, doesn't matter. I'm glad I'm able to do it. But I was thinking of getting a used XM1. XM1? Is that like the original XM5? Again, if it's Fujifilm, I really don't know much about it. So, but very cool. Nice. The commenting of favorite vegetable is great. I'll maybe just keep that up, or just come up with like a silly thing each time. Yeah, if I could just get my whole Instagram feed to just be full of comments of like the most random stuff, I think that'd be kind of funny. I don't have a problem. I have US address. Oh, sweet. There you go. Anyone have any recommendations on a zoom lens for my A6700 that's cheaper than the Sigma or Tamrons? I know Viltrox and TD Artisans don't have any. That's a good question. Zoom lenses get expensive. There's like a few things that add price to a lens. So autofocus, image stabilization, whether it zooms or not, and the aperture. Those are like probably the key things that add price to a lens. So when a lens can do all four of those things and is really cheap, that should be concerning. Does that make sense? That's why I don't like kit lenses. Kit lenses have all of those things except the aperture. They don't have the aperture part, but they zoom, they have autofocus, and they're stabilized. Yet they're only $100. Like, I don't know, that just kind of means you're not going to be getting the highest quality glass. And that's why manual lenses, like if you spend $500 on a manual lens that has none of those things, that probably means you're just getting really good glass, right? Because all that money is just going into the glass and the build quality. Whereas if you are getting the more features a lens has, the more expensive it should be. And therefore, if it's really cheap but it offers all of those things, it may not be the best lens. That does not answer your question at all, and I do apologize, but I actually don't know an answer to your question. I don't know of any other zoom lenses, unfortunately, other than kit lenses. I think there's a website where it picks out a random comment on certain videos. I've seen that one. The only problem with those is it can sometimes end up picking somebody who lives in a place that I can't ship to. That's my only concern. And I don't know, maybe you guys can tell me, is there a way that I could filter the comments by region? Like the whichever comment it picks, can I filter that by region? I don't know. You can let me know. Random comment picker. Yeah. I mean, maybe if I can get something like that to work, that'd be great. Hey Thomas, love your content. I recently got the ZV-E10 Mark II and saw your ultimate build video. Would you ever consider doing a budget version? Yes. But do tell me what you mean by budget. That is ultimately the question. So budget could mean different things to different people. I do at the end of the month, whenever I hit 20,000 subs, this rig that I have right here will work for a ZV-E10 Mark II, and it's $500. So is that the kind of budget that you're looking for? Or are you thinking like 200, 250? The video I have, which is a $250 rig for the original ZV-E10, will work for the ZV-E10 Mark II, but you'll just have to buy a different cage. So I deleted my account yesterday. Which one? Your Twitter that you were talking about? Fair enough. Have you tried the Fuji 10-24? I've tried like nothing. The only thing I've tried with Fuji is what was in my video that I put out earlier this week. Like I'm literally brand new. So my sister over in Ireland has a X100V and is obsessed. So I was like, well, she's usually like relatively sensible and pretty like, she doesn't spend money on gear unnecessarily, but she loves that camera. So I was like, maybe there is something to Fuji. I'll give it a go. So, but no, I haven't tried it yet. I know people who do just wheel spinners with names for giveaways, and people who require a whole website for giveaways. Whatever is easier for you is best. So far, it's just been through Instagram, but then I do feel bad when some people don't have Instagram. I know that makes it a little bit more difficult. So, I don't know. Also, I honestly don't even post very much on Instagram. I need to be better at using Instagram. But yeah. You think we see a Thomas McClure and Paul Feinberg collab in the future? Sure, I'm down for something. Ezreal was talking about doing more collab live streams, which Ezreal, I need you to show me how you did that with Kofi the other day. Like how did you bring another person in, and did you have to use eCam, and did you have to pay for it? Because I don't want to pay for things. I don't even know if he's still here, but yeah, if we can figure out ways of bringing people in, I think that'd be great. If it's any consolation, my everyday camera is an R50V. Yeah, tell me about that, because that looks like a really good option for a lot of people. Like if you're wanting to get into Canon, again, this whole channel has been, largely focused on beginners, trying to help beginners get started. And the R50V looks really cool. I really like it. Freewell V2 is solid. The new Nisi looks great, but never have used them. I haven't used them either. Nisi are just at that weird price point where they're They're like between super high end and budget, which isn't a bad thing. But again, usually I'm focusing on budget stuff here. Have you ever tried an anamorphic filter that gives you anamorphic effect? Yeah, I modded a Helios, the 44, and I loved it. I put the little oval bokeh insert in on the back, but I haven't tried it with like an adapter on the front. So I mean, just those little inserts on the back does make a difference. So those are really good. Other than that, I haven't really tried them. I haven't tried the adapters on the front. But I do have a Blazar lens coming in. I have a Blazar. What did I get? I got the 33mm Remus. And I have a bid in on a 65mm Remus as well. Because I'm pretty intrigued. And I'm trying to collab with a brand about PL adapters. So trying to make, I don't think any brands are in here, but if any brands are in here who make PL adapters for multiple mounts, let me know, because I want to do something. I think it'd be fun. Tyler, you're talking about flares, the anamorphic flares. Possibly the little oval bokeh thing. If you put a little string in the back, or just a filter on the front, you can get those flares. They look pretty cool. Dinner time, gotta run. Good to see you, Micah. I hope you're doing well. Have a great time. No veggies. I love broccoli now too. Eating healthy helps lose weight. I would know. Yeah. I'm getting to that stage where I've lived in America long enough that I also need to start losing weight, because it has been unkind to me. Taco Bell is tasty but brutal. What is the camera you're giving away? The giveaway stuff for today is two camera handles like this, the fall cam ones, and a dual camera harness. The other one I talked about earlier, so you'd have to go back and watch, because I don't want to talk about it too much, because it's not happening yet, and I don't even know if I'm giving away a camera in that one, but there will be other giveaways in it. But you can rewind. It was about 6 o'clock, so 25 minutes ago I talked about that. What do I think about the A6700? Great camera, really good camera. Good for the money, especially on the used market. Just reliable, solid, really good hybrid camera. If you're video first, just go FX30. I know it's more expensive, but it is just much better for FX30 or for video. But if you're doing hybrid, the A6700 is really good. Much better than the ZV-10 Mark II, and not all that much more expensive. So that would be my take. But yeah, if you're wanting to be in the Sony ecosystem, I think it's probably one of the best places to start, if you can afford it. I'll definitely check out the Freewell filters. Good. Yeah, they're pretty cool. The Freewell filter blue streaks. Yeah, so I've never tried the streaked filters. I have Freewell's matte box, and I think they included those filters, but I never tried them. Veggies are the way to go. I want to agree. I was going to just agree, and then I realized I'd be lying and pretending like I don't prefer chocolate. But I do. I don't think a cheap, good zoom lens exists that isn't Tamron Sigma. Just got to go with used market. Yeah, used market is the way to go, for sure. Thanks for the insight, Thomas. That makes sense. Didn't think of it that way. I appreciate it. Thank you. How do you enter the giveaway, by the way? Go back 25 minutes and all the details are there. So just rewind 25 minutes. Around 6 o'clock is whenever I gave all those details. So, Paul Feinberg, excellent. Thanks for the suggestion. Anamorph fake filter could save me some cash. Yeah. I think anamorphic lenses are really cool, but I think most of the time you aren't going to use them. It's one of those, which I'm probably going to make a whole video about, like camera gear that's great that you won't use, because there's quite a lot of stuff in that list. So I'm excited about that one. Brian doesn't have an Instagram. Yeah, it's most of the younger, like there's a decent amount of teenagers who follow on the channel, and I know a lot of them don't have Instagram, so I do apologize. We'll maybe figure out something else. I don't want to have to build a whole website for it, but we'll see. Ecamm, that's what you use? Cool. I am still here, just building a camera for tomorrow. Nice. What are you filming tomorrow, out of curiosity? Use Google Meet. I've never used that. Never used that. You need to polish up the process, but it worked, and you used OBS. Very cool. I like using OBS. It's just free and it's easy, and I've used it a lot, so I kind of know most of what to do. I don't know how to bring people in. But I guess, yeah, if you use Google Meet and then just use that as your video source, I'm guessing that's probably what you did. That makes sense. So the R50V is amazing for what it is. Too many reviewers and videographers criticize it too much, but forget who the camera is really for, especially with Sigma and Tamron glass. No, it's amazing. Oh, is Sigma and Tamron both now doing RF? I knew Sigma was. That's pretty big. If the RF mount is starting to open up, that'll be huge for Canon, especially for beginners. So yeah, I love the body design. I think the body design looks really, really nice. Like my opinion has always been, like, whatever camera market can sort of dominate that beginner, right, that first camera purchase, and not point and shoots. I mean, like, more than just a point and shoot, are going to be in the lead. And that R50V is a strong contender, I think. So that's great. Safe, we're giving away camera gear. Go back 27 minutes and you get all the details. Just rewind. C-Log 3 for $650, crazy. I didn't realize it had C-Log 3. That's cool. Yeah, Nikon have their Z30, and I really wanted to love that camera, but it doesn't offer any form of log, which to me is like, come on, just give me log, you know. It can't be hard to just stick it in a camera. It can't cost anything, right? Because they've already made it. I don't know. I don't make cameras, so I don't understand. Instagram account, I can't participate in the giveaway. Sorry about that. At some point in the future, we'll maybe figure out another way to do it, but for now, this is just the way that works the easiest for me. It's easiest to not have to worry about, you know, comments being like, contact me on Telegram, I'm Thomas. And it's like, nope, that's not me. Just my Instagram page. And to make it easy on beginners getting into log, you can even do baked in LUTs. Ah, I didn't know you could do baked in LUTs. That's pretty cool. Probably $500 USD. I've recently gotten the DJI RS4 Mini to combat the lack of IBIS. You could probably get a decent lens for $500 for a zoom lens. Yeah, just go used. Facebook Marketplace is probably the cheapest, but also risky. Other than that, MPB, B&H used, even eBay. You can usually get some good deals on eBay. Just take your time and just be patient and see what you can find. Is the giveaway over? It is not over. I haven't done the giveaway. Like, I haven't picked the winners, but I'll pick that in a couple of days. If you rewind 30 minutes, you'll get all the details. Outside of eBay, where else can I look for used lenses that isn't sketchy? MPB, KEH, B&H. Those are probably the main ones. I actually have a whole video on the channel about how to buy used gear. So if you go onto the YouTube channel, I made a video about buying used gear safely. So you can check all that out. For people living outside of North America, would using third-party forwarding be available if we paid for it? I don't know the best way to do that. So shipping just gets complicated, because depending on where you ship to, especially now with tariffs, with like taxes having to be paid, I would just hate to send somebody a camera and them to be told at the post office, yeah, you have to pay $200 or something big in the equivalent sort of world of wherever they are, to have to get it. So it just makes it easier. Another thing I could potentially do in the future with Amazon giveaways, if it's not something that I actually have physically, would be just order it on whichever Amazon is closest to that person. But right now I have this stuff and I'm having to do it that way. But if there's ever times where it's just like, I could just order it on Amazon UK or Amazon wherever, India or whatever, we could potentially look at doing it that way. But I don't know. Polar, do you have a YouTube channel about Rust? I'm just looking at your profile picture and I watch a lot of Rust videos. And for some reason, Polar sounds familiar, and I don't know if you actually post or not. But I don't know. I love Rust videos, and I love playing Rust, but I'm terrible at it. And I just get to laugh at the whole toxic community. I think it's hilarious. Going to Austin to film for a Lux Eco hotel company. Ooh, that sounds fancy. They have 8 tree houses. Oh, this is something that I'm really tempted to look into. So next year, we're going to, like I said, we're going to be doing a bit more traveling. Oh, my camera might die. Did I not plug it in? I didn't plug it in. I have a spare battery. If the camera dies, I'll just switch it out, so don't panic. We're going to be traveling a lot, and my wife, I'm trying to encourage my wife to start a YouTube channel. She does a couple of things. She's an author, or becoming one, and she's very talented, but also she's really good at like interior design and like talking about stuff like that. So if we do a lot of traveling, I'd love to do like Airbnb reviews and have her sort of do that, because I've seen people who like, and I know people who do Airbnb reviews and they just contact the Airbnb and they get free places to stay. Now that's not all that matters, but I wouldn't complain about that. It makes travel a whole lot easier, which means I can do more content about cameras and take some really cool photos and videos of different places. That was a rant. Thanks, you're welcome. Yep, I hope you were able to get all the information that you needed. Can you try a ZV-10 with focus motor and a cine lens on the DJI RS4 Mini? Would love to see if it's possible, weight-wise and also fit-wise. Running focus motors on gimbals is a nightmare. I hate doing it. I mean, you can do it, but it's just a nightmare. It just makes everything so much more complicated. Where is my gimbal? Actually has a motor. I'm figuring out something with the RS4 Mini to attach like a focus handle, one of the tilta focus handles. And I'm just not happy with it. Oh, it's about to die. It's going. Camera's. Do I have sound? We're back. We're good. All right. Sorry about that. I will have to go here in about 20 minutes, I think. Do we have any more chats here? Hang on. Let me scroll. There we go. Okay. Oh, we do. Sweet. It's complicated. It's hard to add things to a gimbal like that. It just gets a little bit complicated and more complex than needed. So also focus motors in general, I've been going back to just handheld focus recently. So I don't know. Jacob's late again. Terrible. It's all good. You can just go back and watch some stuff. Again, 30 minutes ago is when we talked about the giveaway things. I remember you said that you don't have Instagram. Again, that's kind of how we're doing it, but I don't know if you have friends with Instagram, but you can figure something out. You need the rig. Well, hopefully, if you're not subscribed, subscribe so we can get to 20k so that I can do a giveaway. I had great success on Facebook Marketplace as long as the shipping is from Meta Payments. Oh yeah, I remember you showed me about getting the XLR top handle. I don't do Facebook. I don't risk Facebook shipping personally. I know people that do. Obviously, Paul does. But I just do it in person. But that's because on Facebook I'm looking at anything from furniture to cars to camera gear. So, but yeah, if you can find a good deal, I would just say shipping with Facebook. Just be careful. As Paul said, they're shipping through Meta Payments. Maybe that's the safest way to go. So it's probably good to do. Any tips for finding focus manually with prime lenses when videoing yourself? Oh, practice. Practice. And if you have a camera that has a phone app that you can like wirelessly transmit to your phone, use that instead of having to like, a lot of times what people do is they'll like set up a chair or like a stick, and then they'll set focus to the stick and then they'll go and sit back down. I tend to just like Lumix or Sony, most of them have like an app that you can control your phone or watch it. So I would just pick up that, and then you can wirelessly check and like pinch and zoom and all that kind of stuff. So I would use your phone if you can. No, but I'm currently AFK in Rust while watching this. Nice, very cool. I need to get back into it. I haven't played it in a few months. I mostly just play solo to waste time. But so the giveaway for 20k is also only North America. Probably. I'll look into it. I'll look into seeing if there's a decent way to do it. I mean, I might be able to do it to the UK and just order the parts over there, and then you can build it yourself. But I don't know. I'll look into it to see if I can do it. It just depends where it's going. So we'll see. If it ends up being something that's just super expensive to ship, like shipping it to Australia or something is probably just gonna be far too expensive on my end. So I'll do whatever I can, but I can't guarantee it. Okay, so we have to wait for you to hit 20k, and then you're gonna do the giveaway. So the giveaway for the one that I talked about earlier is at 20k. The giveaway for today is our handles and the camera strap. So a week or so ago, I sorry, I just read a comment that I'm probably not going to put on the screen. The giveaway for today is from the cool camera gear under $50. So that's the one that we're doing the giveaway for. I just mentioned the other one because I actually had a question about memberships and what people thought about that. But again, go back and watch it and tell me what you think. And you let me know. It's a nice rig. Thank you. I appreciate it. When I finally got that thing figured out with the rig, and I just sort of like, I had the XM5 in it, and then I took the XM5 out, and I was like, oh, the S9 might fit in there. Just popped it in, and I was like, oh, that fit perfectly. And I took it out, and then I put the A6700 in, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is like the coolest rig I've ever built. So, but anyway, there's that. Yeah, I don't know why shipping is so expensive. It can be. It's weird. Sometimes it's not, and sometimes it is. It's really annoying. I would get the RS4, well worth the upgrade. There you go. I'm guessing that means my battery died. It did. I agree with Paul. Personally, use the RS4 Pro because my rig is too heavy, but using a fizz system on it is great for me. Yeah, if you can get it, so if you can get a gimbal that has a follow focus system built in, like a wheel that you can use, I would totally get one of those rather than having to sort of jerry rig your own thing up, for sure. Dang, that's crazy. Austin is literally my favorite place. I don't know where that one came from. Kentucky, we have a problem. What's up? Oh, battery life. Okay. And Andre, almost missed life. Yeah, I'm going to finish up here in about 20 minutes. I got to go eat some dinner. But I'm glad that you're here. Glad you're here. Again, if you want to get into the giveaway stuff, it was at 6 o'clock, so 40 minutes ago. Just rewind it and you'll find out. Sorry, I'm gonna do this for a second because my nose is itchy and I don't want to just itch my nose on camera. Sorry about that. All right. It's fine. I'm subscribed, of course. I'm either way not that interested. Fair enough. There you go. But especially for cars, I think a gimbal would be very nice, and I love to shoot on vintage glass or cine glass. Hope you get my problem. Yeah, it is. So I would do what Paul and Ethan were saying. Depending on the gimbal, if now the RS4 Mini might have something down the line that you could potentially work with it, but if your gimbal doesn't have like a way of connecting a fizz system or any sort of like follow focus system, it just gets really difficult. So I don't know, it's a tough one, but I'll keep working on the setup that I've been working on for a little while. I'll try and get that one finished up, and if I can get something that I feel like is reasonable to do, then I'll do it. But it'll probably cost you as much to build a fizz system that you can connect to a gimbal as it would to just upgrade your gimbal to one that has that built in. So I don't know, it's hard. In the handles, we're talking about the handles, not that interested. That's fair enough. Speaking of apps, Canon has the worst camera app control. I haven't used a Canon since the EOS R. I bought it and kept it for about 2 months, and then I sold it. Just because I wanted to go back to Sony. I wanted to go back to Sony, but then I actually went to Blackmagic instead. Germany would be great. I'll look into it. I'll what I could probably do is I could package up the whole thing, and then I'll go to the post office and ask them what it would cost to ship it to different parts of the world and see what's within the budget. Do it that way. So if I have a Sony a6500, is it worth the upgrade to the a6700 for video? For video, yes. For photos, probably not. For video, yeah, the a6500 was kind of known for its overheating back in the day. I don't know if you've had that problem. Now, the a6700 overheats as well, but you're going from 8-bit to 10-bit, 4K 30 to 4K 120. Better IBIS, better battery. You get the bigger battery. It's quite a big upgrade from the A65, for sure. Andrew's here for the giveaway. Yeah, just rewind and you get all the details. You know what you could do? Do a bigger giveaway for members only and then a smaller one open for everyone. Yeah. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. For sure. I kind of like that. And that way it kind of appeases both people. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. Manually focusing on yourself. Stand where you want. Set a marker. Focus on the center column of the tripod. Yeah, if you don't have a camera app that can connect and you can watch it, yeah, setting up a monopod or a tripod is usually the easiest way. But it's certainly not easy. And there's actually a couple of my recent videos that I had to do manual focus, and it was a bit of a nightmare, but I did like the way that it looked. Thanks for your generosity with your time and knowledge. Well, thank you. I appreciate you saying that. It's very kind. Facebook Marketplaces for shipping is sketchy in my experience. I do know that they've been working on it because it used to be there was no shipping, and then they've started to add, like, as long as it's like under $500, you can ship through Facebook. I haven't done it yet. That doesn't mean it's not worth doing. It just means I haven't done it. Because yeah, in the past you used to have to be like, I'll send you money in PayPal and hopefully you'll send it. But I know they've been working on it, so hopefully it's better. But I haven't done it yet. So is it worth the upgrade from the A6400 to the A6700? Everyone's gone to the A6700. Were you the same person that had the A65? Or was that somebody else? That was somebody else. A6400 is basically the ZV-E10 with an EVF and a different screen, I think. I don't know. Maybe. Battery life is better. Stabilization is better. I don't know. Joe, I will ignore your question because this is not a political place. And I am one of those people. No, I'm not. I'm not one of those people. Such a crazy question. Terrible question. If you want to get into Rust, start with a modded server. That's what I do. So I've typically, I think 1.5x is my favorite. 2x feels too fast sometimes because I like to try and play for like a whole week. And 2x, I just get stuff done too quickly. You know, building in a god rock or in a cave, 2x, you're just kind of done in like a couple of days, which is kind of my favorite way to build. Not connected, but there you go. Yeah, I would love to get a pro, but I ain't got the money. Yeah. I think was it you who was asking about the setup for the gimbal? I don't know. I just worry that it would be just as expensive to set up a follow focus system. He's been saying 20 minutes for 20 minutes. Okay, that's probably true. Yes, we're back to 40 minutes. Yes, my bad. My bad. Time flies when you're having a good time, you know. I want to say thanks for helping me start my YouTube journey. The first video I made about a year ago after getting serious about making videos was inspired by your A67 camera cage comparison. Very cool. Bedrock Reviews. I have not seen your channel before. Let me go check it out. Is this your channel, the Bedrock Reviews? I will check it out here. I will add it to my watch later list. See if I can find it on here. YouTube has a terrible search system. I'm not finding it here. I'll go in afterwards and find a link to your channel and check it out. But I appreciate that. Thank you for letting me know. Thanks for making all of the budget camera gear videos, by the way. You're welcome. I really enjoy it. It helps with my imposter syndrome because I can talk about high-end gear, but I would worry too much that I'd get something wrong. Whereas budget gear, like cheaper gear, I can definitely talk about that. I feel plenty qualified and experienced to talk about cheaper gear, and there's a larger market for it, so that's just fun. So I'm going on a trip to Europe for a month. Should I buy a used Fujifilm X100F for 400 or a good carbon fiber tripod? Two very different products. Very different products. A different camera. I don't know the Fuji X100F. Or a good carbon fiber tripod. If you don't have a tripod, get a tripod or a monopod. You can't beat a good tripod. Tripods are just like one of those things that you will use all the time. And if you already have a camera and you don't need another one, I wouldn't buy another one. But if you need another one or really want another one, get another one. That's a hard one to answer. Two very different products. I love that you can just buy a camera or buy a tripod for the same amount of money. Like that's, do you know what I mean? It's such a strange world that we live in. I got the small rig light at the moment. Is it the follow focus system? Oh, you already have it. So the DJI, do you have the RS4 Mini? I can't remember. Sorry, this was a while ago. The RS4 Mini, if that's the one that you were talking about, the handle, the grip that comes with it, you can technically attach something to the end of the joint. So if you can attach the follow focus section to that joint somehow, that would probably be your best bet if you already have something. And then just run a cable up to it. It won't be clean and it won't be pretty, but it might work. You have the Canon R8. Yes, I remember you were saying about that last time. Great little camera. I don't know anything about the Fujifilm X100F, so I can't recommend on that, I'm afraid. Thank you. Speaking of the ESR, that's what I'm on now. Not bad. The dynamic range is not as good as the A6500. My girlfriend has my A6500 now, thinking of getting an A6700 for a deducted video rig. I don't know what you mean by a deducted video rig, but yeah, this is the thing. All cameras are good. We're in a really weird spot for, like, how do I word this? Buying cameras based off of what YouTubers are buying is not a good move, because we're in a really weird position where I can buy a camera. I can buy the Fujifilm XM5, which is, in theory, worse than half of the other cameras that I own. So if I wasn't doing YouTube, I would not have bought this. I don't think. Maybe I would have. Probably not. As YouTubers, we're in a weird spot where we profit from buying cameras. Nowhere else in the sort of camera industry does that happen in the way that it does here. So what I would say is, like, if you have a camera, like you have the EOS R and you like it, just stick with it. You don't need to upgrade. What I would say is most YouTube videos, when it comes to like a new camera, that is primarily for people who are in need of a camera or looking at getting a first camera. But we're kind of, it's one of these weird ones. Like, I could probably make 5 videos about the XM5 and it would pay for itself in theory, right? Through like Google AdSense. But let's say 5 people buy an XM5 through my affiliate links, which they probably can't because they're all sold out. So that's a whole other story. It very quickly pays for itself. So it's a kind of weird mix. So all that to say, camera YouTubers are going to be buying more cameras than regular photographer or videographers should be buying them, because it's a different kind of market. It is strange. I got to go have dinner. Great stream. Thank you. Have a great dinner. Talk to you soon. Laughy face about something. Don't know, but great. Have you used the Sony Creators app? Thoughts? Let me check. I've used a few. So Sony have a few apps. Do I have Sony Creators? I do have the Sony Creators app. Okay. So yes. I don't know if this is I think it's my phone. My phone has a weird thing where every app that I've tried connecting to every camera that I own has weird freezing moments, where it'll just lock up for a second. And I think it's my phone because it's every app that I've tried. So I certainly wouldn't use it as like a primary monitor, but for filming yourself and trying to get focus, it works just fine. I hook up my Sony camera to Creators app via USB-C to send the photos right to my phone. I think the Creators app, actually, you can do that, right? Even for like monitoring, you can just run USB-C to your phone or Lightning or whatever it would be, and you can just use it that way. I think I've seen people talk about that, but I haven't tried it. A great app for updating and transferring photos. That's very true. Transferring photos is pretty handy. I think for transferring photos, I think Lumix is ahead. If I'm honest, I do like their app. It works pretty well. The camera control app is great too. Yes, that's a really good one. That one doesn't work for every camera, so that's the one that I use for like the FX30. I think most of the FX line and some of their A series you can control with that. But yeah, I think like cameras like the old ZV-E10s and stuff don't work with that one. But yeah, the camera control app is really good if it works with the camera. That's you. I will look for it here in a little bit. I gotta go here in about 10 minutes, but I'll check it out. I'd be interested to know how many creators' channels you've impacted. I'd love to know that too. I don't know. I also want to know how many channels use gear that I recommend that aren't cameras. That's something I need to do. So I'm thinking of making a video about like camera gear recommendations for people who don't care about cameras, because that's a whole other market, isn't it? It's like for me as a camera person, I'm like, I'll talk about the Sony ZV-E10, but I talk about the Sony ZV-E10 as somebody who is trying to graduate to like an FX3, right? If I'm talking to a camera person, I'm like, yeah, start with the Sony ZV-E10 and learn it and get really good at it and make money with it and do what you need to do with it so that you can upgrade. But there's a lot of people out there that are just like, I just want a camera. Like, just help me figure out how I use my camera. I don't care about cameras. I don't even like cameras, but I want to film something. I want to try and be better at talking to those people as well. And I think that's really where the XM5 comes in. I don't think, like if Sony buys the XM5, if somebody is looking for a good camera for content creation and they don't like cameras very much, not that they don't like cameras, but they don't want to upgrade, that's where I would recommend the XM5. I think that's where it's a really strong contender. I bought the ZV-E10 to learn my craft based on your recommendations, by the way. Love it. Good. I'm glad you enjoy it. Do you have any recommendations for a good monopod? The one that I use is by Sure, and it is great. I'm a big fan. I don't know where it is. It's in my car. I do have a video about it. There's a video on the channel. I think it's like my favorite camera gear of 2025 so far. I think in that video, let me see. I'll know it by the thumbnail. Yes, my favorite camera gear in 2025 so far. In that video, I go over the Sure one. Now, I haven't tested a whole bunch of others. Cold Bore make one that's got a quick release. iFootage make one. I like the ones that are fast, have like a single latch system, and I think Sure is one of the cheapest right now. So that might be a good one. All right, just a few more things. Sorry, my nose is itching like crazy. 1 second. Let me just do this because this is not an attractive look. So I'm going to hide my camera while I scratch my nose. So sorry. I shouldn't even tell people. Okay. What do you recommend for an all-in-one budget hiking landscape lenses for the A6700? Hiking and landscape. Depends on the landscape. So most people would shoot ultra wide for landscapes, probably something like a Sigma 10 to 18. The nice thing about landscapes is you don't need a fast aperture. You're probably wanting to shoot at like f8 or f6, maybe 5.6. So you don't need a lens with a fast aperture, which is great because that can save you some money. So you don't need like a like a 1.8, 1.4 lens. I actually would recommend not using a 1.4, 1.8. That doesn't mean you don't need to get a lens like that, but I would, for landscapes, typically people film or shoot at f4 plus. Now, in saying that, some people shoot landscapes at like 400 millimeters because they want to just get just the peaks of mountains. Other people want to do ultra wides, so that's a hard one to recommend. If you want ultra wide, probably the Sigma 10 to 18 is a really good choice. It's small, it's light, it is relatively fast. So if you wanted to do Nighttime shots, you could do that. But it's not the most versatile. 10 to 18 isn't super versatile. So that's a hard one to answer. Maybe the 18 to 105. Someone was talking about that earlier. It's hard to know. Makes no sense to buy a full frame yet while I'm learning. Yeah, I think the same thing. It's crazy. I put out a lot of videos where I say, don't buy an expensive camera, right? Where I tell people, it's like, hey, if you're a beginner, don't buy an expensive camera. And people freak out. They're like, no, you got to invest, right? Throw a lot of money into it. It motivates you. And that sort of thing is true. But even to a beginner, like buying a $1,000 camera, which is typically around that budget starting price, that's still a lot of money, right? So they're still going to be pretty heavily invested at $1,000. And then the thing is, like, people upgrade their cameras in 2 years anyway. Doesn't matter if you spend $4,000 on a camera or $400 on a camera, you're probably going to upgrade in 2 years. So if you're a beginner, to me it makes sense to spend the 400 or 800 or 1,000, whatever, because you're still going to upgrade. Lenses are what hold their value, right? When everyone, people go all crazy about, like, investing and things holding their value. Lenses are the thing that hold their value. So invest in good lenses. But camera bodies, especially when you get started, just get something. Dedicated. Okay. Yes, dedicated server that we said. Or dedicated to the A6700. I can't remember where that is. Video rig. Yes. Okay. That makes sense. Tyler, he has lots of impact. I appreciate that, Paul. That's very kind. Paul is a bit of a legend here. Everybody should go subscribe to Paul. Sometimes the camera control app is buggy for me. Yeah, I mean, all apps are buggy. I wouldn't use them. Again, I wouldn't use them as a primary monitor. But for just like, wireless viewing a little bit, they work. For getting focus, it'll work, but not for like anything super crazy. Where would you point someone that's just getting started, not for gear, but for learning a thing or two? I do love YouTube, but maybe there's a shared preference among videographers. So not for gear, but for learning a thing or two. So I think the best way to learn photography or videography, I'm guessing videography. I don't know. Either, it doesn't matter. Honestly, the best thing to do to get better at photography or videography is to not care about gear and to just go out and shoot something. Just go out, take photos, go out and film something, bring it back, edit it, learn how to edit through trial and error, and just do it a lot. There are professionals out there who are filming commercials and they get paid a huge amount of money and they film once every 3 months. So if you go out 3 times a week, you're getting more experience. That's kind of my take. Just keep going, just keep practicing. Learn framing. Framing is really important. So I think some of the main things that I would recommend learning is like framing, learning your lens choice. So like what focal length works for what stuff. And then the exposure triangle. If you can learn the exposure triangle, that'll set you up. So if you don't know what that is, it's your aperture, your ISO, and your shutter speed. If you can nail those, it's kind of like learning how to drive a manual car, like a stick shift car. It's weird at first because you have to pay a lot of attention to so many things. You're thinking about pedals, you're thinking about the steering wheel, you're thinking about the gear shifter. But once you get used to it, you just start operating all three without thinking. Your exposure triangle is the same way. So it's a lot to learn at first, but I would definitely recommend learning the exposure triangle. I hope that helps. I don't know if that's really what you were looking for, but it's good. Yeah, the thing is, I don't know which gimbal to buy. Oh, you haven't bought a gimbal. And that is the point for me to decide between newer, little, or older, bigger. I honestly don't know enough about gimbals right now, if I'm honest with you. So there's a lot of good choices. Zhiyun gimbals are cheaper. I'll put that out there. And as far as stabilization goes, there's not a huge amount of upgrades that have come out over the last few years. Like an old Crane 3 stabilizes just as well as a new one. So older, maybe. But there's so many gimbals out there, it's really hard to recommend. I'm sorry. I wish I could just say, get this one. But if you need one, and you buy one, I just make it work in whatever way that you can. There's always ways to make things work, right? The people don't show it, but professionals in the field are duct taping things to stuff, or gaff tape's your best friend, and like you're jerry rigging stuff all the time. That's normal. So don't be afraid of doing that. Yeah, my wife doesn't understand why I buy cameras. Isn't it weird? It's a different world that we live in, because we don't need these cameras to use as cameras. We need these cameras to use as props as we talk about the cameras. It's really weird. It's a different world. I was thinking of getting an A6700 for a dedicated video rig. Yes, this is what you were talking about earlier. Getting an A6700 for a dedicated video rig, since I have a lot more Sony glass than Canon, which is why I ask about the A6700 versus the A6500. Yes, the A6700 is going to be a little easier to rig up because the monitor flips out. So this is an A6700 rig, this one right here. So I can still access everything on the monitor very easily, which is nice. So in that sense, it's good, but you're also getting like 10-bit, all that stuff. I think it's a good upgrade. Thanks for all the inspiration, Thomas. Finally hit 1K views on a short. Congratulations. No, that's not pathetic at all. That is not pathetic. I mean, this is one of the things you got to realize about YouTube. Viewers are just numbers when they're on your screen. But when you picture those people in a room, that's a lot of people. Like 1,000 people. 1,000 people watched your video. Like, so the town that I live in has 5,000 people in it, right? So you're almost at 1/5 of the entire population of the town that I live in. I work at a church. We have about 300 to 400 people per service here. When we're full to the brim, like so 2 weeks ago, we were full to the brim. We had 500 people here, and it's a big auditorium, full to the brim of people, and you had double that. Watch your video, right? When you start to do that and you start to picture people in seats, that's a huge amount of people, right? So never think that it's pathetic, because 1,000 views on, like, that's so many people, right? Always picture them in the room, because when you just see numbers and you're watching, like, Mari Hapoya and Peter McKinnon raking in hundreds of thousands of views, we get disenchanted. But yeah, when you're a beginner, just picture those kind of numbers in seats, and you realize that's a lot of people. Monopod, so many good options right now. Yeah, there's been a big resurgence. My favorite that I've used so far is the YC Onion Pro one, so stable. Harlow has a good one, but dang expensive. I have one coming from Komen. Oh, you got the Komen one. Very good. The YC Onion one's pretty expensive too, right? I can't remember, because the Suri one is under $200, and that's why I'm pretty happy with that one. But yeah, there's lots of good options out there for sure. Did you try the Monitor Plus app with cable? I didn't. I haven't tried that yet. I haven't had a need to. And I also don't know what cable it is. There's so many things. That was on my list like 2 years ago of a video to make, was doing that, but I forgot. So I'll try and throw that one back on. But if anybody else in here has done that, throw that in the comments about whether how to do the Monitor Plus app with the cable. I also think you have to pay for the Monitor Plus app, which I haven't done. I bought my ZV-10 also because of your recommendation, and other than not having IBIS, I think it's just perfect. Yeah, great little camera. I think for the amount of money that people throw in, I think it's great. I think it's a really good option. Do you edit in DaVinci Resolve, and have you ever used Dehancer? I don't. I edit in Premiere Pro. I have used Dehancer, and if you want that sort of more nostalgic, grainy look, it's great. It's really good. I just don't find that I like that look, and I think that's just connected to the way that I color grade. The style of my color grades and the style of my shots, I don't think lend themselves well to grainy sort of old-fashioned footage. So I don't do that, right? I prefer having my colors than the Dehancer look, if that makes sense. There was a music video I did a few years ago where I had to use it, and for that it worked. But again, I wasn't happy with the colors. I found it hard to balance. But if you want to go for that look of the sort of grainy, sort of vintage vibe. Dehancer is very good. Nigel Barrows just put out a video comparing a lot of different ones of how to get a grainy filmic image. I'd highly recommend going and checking that out. He compares 3 different versions or 3 different options. So I'd take a look at that for sure. You got any idea where to post short films? YouTube. Yeah, post it on YouTube. You can also post them on Vimeo, but it's not going to get views there, but it's a good place to store stuff. I am all in on the YouTube train. I think it is great. I think it's a really cool platform that people have access to. Again, that a random guy from Ireland living in the middle of nowhere in eastern Kentucky can sit and talk to 186 people have been on here today about cameras and can get a following to talk about gear is crazy. Like, it's so cool. And yeah, just put your short films out there. If they don't get views, that's fine. The most important thing is that you're filming and you're making stuff. Some of my favorite videos that I made for this channel are my worst performing ones, but I still love them and I wouldn't take them down ever. Like, I'm really happy with them. So, yeah, stick them on YouTube. That'd be my recommendation. Did I get a 3D printer? Not yet. I am fixing my house right now. Literally, we're about to get the entire flooring of our and subflooring and half the supports of our house ripped up. So I'm not spending any money. The S5 II is the only full frame camera that does not overheat with 10-bit 30 FPS. That will not overheat. Cool. I didn't know that. I haven't seen people talk about it overheating. But yeah, it does have a fan built in, so that's good. So, and what can it do? It can do 6K. 6K 30, is that the highest it'll shoot? But yeah, S5 II does not overheat. Excellent camera. It does look great. So I don't have the S5 II. I do have the Lumix S9, which does overheat a little bit, but image-wise, it's very similar, if not the same. And yeah, it puts out a great image. Really good little camera. All right, I got to wrap this up. Do you have your LUTs up for us to see anywhere? I do not, because I don't know how to do that. I mean, I've been tempted to. The main LUT that I use is one that I built off of advice and sort of teaching from Color Grading Central, again on YouTube, and I would feel guilty putting that up for sale because it's basically their tutorial on how to build a teal and orange LUT. So that doesn't feel right for me to sell. So I'm just going to recommend that you go check out Color Grading Central and look up teal and orange, because that's typically what I focus on. It just works well. I like the way that it looks. No, I done it with the cable. I just wanted to know. I used it together with a friend, so I filmed on Cineglass handheld with focus motor, and he pulled focus on the phone. It works way better. That's cool. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I love it when people sort of figure out those sort of fun, unique ways to do stuff like that. So yes. Well, listen, I appreciate all of you for joining in. I'm going to go and get dinner. My wife has sent me lots of texts about dinner, so I need to go get some dinner. And again, if you rewind 1 hour and 10 minutes, you will get all the details about today's giveaway and how to enter that for the camera handles by Fullcam and the dual camera harness. If you don't know which one I'm talking about, go and watch my most recent cool camera gear under $50 video. It should be episode 3. You can check out those there if you want to get into the giveaway. Details are earlier on in this live stream. And yes, I think that's everything. Cool. I appreciate all of you for being here. Thanks so much for hanging out. And we will do this again. Again, it seems like Mondays work. So either just live streams are building and doing better on the channel, or Mondays work well. So I think for the next couple of weeks, we're just going to try Mondays. So join us again in next Monday, 5 p.m. Eastern, wherever you are in the world. We'll make that work. And we'll see you then. Thank you.